first of all, how much have you lost total?
I've lost total as of today 150 pounds.
Incredible. That is incredible.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today we have a special guest, Lady Tay, in the building. We had some technical difficulties getting started, but we're here, so perseverance is going to pay off. I know this interview is going to be incredible. All right. So if you guys are interested in hearing about her story of triumph, stay tuned. That's coming up next. All right, Lady Tay, thank you for being here. Welcome.
Well, I am so happy and pleased to be here to share my story, my testimony with the audience and my friends that will be watching. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing incredible. It's sunny today in Dallas, Texas. It's been a little dreary the past couple of days, so I'm happy to see the sun. It always makes me happy. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in the outskirts. So when people say they're from Atlanta, a lot of times it's the outskirts of Atlanta. But
I know
that's where
like
I was born and raised.
Is that one of cities?
That's one of the outskirts, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm in Noonan. I'm closer to the Alabama LaGrange area.
Okay. Yeah, I used to I have family in Atlanta, and I've spent a lot of time in Atlanta. So the outskirts is where you want to be, in my opinion. You don't want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I love it out here. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first of all, I always like to find out, how did you come across the AHA channel originally?
Wow. It's so amazing because I didn't know that people could fast like you guys were fasting. And through some triumphs I had with my son, he had an accident. It caused me to start, looking within and, making some changes in our life. And, with me being 275 pounds, I knew I had to do something. And I just, felt like I needed to go on a spiritual fast. So I went on a spiritual fast and doing inspiration from God. He kept telling me to fast. And I did a 40-day fast. But in the midst of the 40-day fast, I found you. And the way I found your channel was, I was curious. I was like, how can people keep fasting so I can keep getting the weight off? Because I didn't want to finish a fast and pick the weight back up. And that's when I started searching through the YouTube, and I found your rolling 72 testimonies. And I saw quite a bit of the people that was, severely obese like I was, that was just like fasting, rolling 72s and getting the weight off. And I was like, this is really possible. People really doing this. So I watched your channel like I would watch Netflix. You know how you just sit there for hours at a time?
Yeah.
I was just watching it, like taking it all in. And I was like, to the point where I could probably quote you. But I couldn't get enough. And that's how I found you. So I was already in the midst of the fast when I found you.
Nice.
And it made me get the courage to keep going.
Beautiful. Like that I love hearing that, because we just had the last live stream on our R72 challenge like last night. And during the live stream, I always encourage people, hey, if you want to share your journey, please feel free. We've got a form. You can reach out. You can set up an interview, because you never know whose life you're going to touch, who's going to be inspired by your journey. And literally, you're saying that you saw the testimonials from the R72, and that was encouragement. Yeah.
Yes, that's what gave me the courage to keep going, because, this is not a popular subject, fasting, because they don't make money off of that. So it takes people like you and people like me now to actually talk about it, to make people understand that you can do it. And not only will you survive, because people think you would die because you missed a couple of meals. I mean, no, not only will you survive, but you will actually thrive. So that's how I feel now. I have so much energy and feel so great now.
Your before and afters are mind blowing, honestly. Like your transformation is incredible. So when did you start, like time frame wise, when did you start your 40 day?
I started my 40-day fast August 1st, 2022. And, I got off of social media and everything, except for YouTube. And I said, I just need direction. I need to know the fast was for direction, what I need to go, what I need to do. And I'm telling you, I found you and I found all kinds of inspiration doing that fast, but it started August 1st. And then when I found you after the 40-day fast, I took like a little mini break, like a 7-day break where I just did, oh man. And then I said, I'm going to start doing this rolling 72 because I got to get this weight off of me for good so that I can, inspire other people. Because I knew it was a way to do it. And I knew we didn't have to have surgery to do it. And so, that's how I found you. And that's how it just started from there.
Okay. We got a lot to unpack. I want to try to get timelines right because people always ask these questions. So
Yes.
August 1st, 2022 to
Yes.
what was the date when you first of all, how much have you lost total?
I've lost total as of today 150 pounds.
Incredible. That is incredible.
Yes, yes,
150 pounds. Okay. And
150 pounds.
we're doing this. This is November 18th, 2023. So when
Yes.
when did you get to that 150 pound mark?
I got to the 150-pound mark September, around September 15th.
Okay.
I was at my year, August 1st, I was 100 and I did 140 pounds. So it took me 140 pounds in a year.
Okay. 140 pounds in a year. So you
Yes.
even after you hit 140 pounds, you continued to drop weight, which
Yes.
a lot of people will lose 160 pounds, 70 pounds, and
Right.
hey, I made it. You
Yeah.
continued your lifestyle change outside of
Mm-hmm.
simply the weight loss. And I'm gonna do my best to kind of get into your mindset around all of that.
Yeah.
But that's
Yes.
absolutely incredible. So
Yes.
150 pounds in a year and a month. Um,
Right.
that is, I mean, okay, let me ask you. Do you know how incredible that is?
I do
Okay.
because I realized, like you said, mindset. I had to transform myself in my mind first and see myself at my ideal weight and the way I wanted to be before I even started, because
Mm,
that kept me going. Like the vision kept me running. So
mm,
that's why I call myself the vision queen, because I had to have a vision for this transformation. It wasn't just weight loss, it was a complete transformation. And that was my goal, to completely transform.
yeah.
And I think it takes something like that for you to keep going like that, because I could no longer be the person that I was to be able to accomplish what I did, because before
Mm,
that, I was the type of person that would give up or that would, get discouraged easily.
mm-hmm.
But it's like I went into what you would call beast mode. I had to become another person to do what I did. And I'm grateful.
Absolutely.
Grateful for the journey. Yeah, it's a journey.
That right there is so key. Like you clearly having that vision, and I talk about this, putting yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually in the future, right? Like, where do you want to
Mhm.
be? And the more interaction you can have with this future person or this future
Right.
lifestyle, the more it becomes your reality. And I think you had mentioned in your, ahead of time that you've been dealing with obesity since you were a child. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Since I was like 8 years old, it started with a sweet tooth. I spent lots of time with my grandmother, who was obese. She had
Mm.
diabetes and heart disease. And, I used to watch her give herself insulin shots and stuff. So as a child, that was really traumatic.
Yeah.
But, she used to like to drink sodas and eat a lot of fried foods and stuff. And I could never understand why she would still eat those things when, it was making her big. But now I understand now that she was addicted to junk food,
Mm.
and that passed down to me because I had a sweet tooth and would eat a lot of candy to the point where I had cavities as a child. And, I ate like junk food, stayed in the house a lot because I went through something in the neighborhood with some bullies that threw some pepper in my eye. And I didn't go outside no more. And
Mm.
after those boys threw the pepper in my eye and called me uh, the word that they call people, Black
Okay.
people in the South.
I got you.
After that happened, I didn't go outside anymore. So, Nintendo became my best friend along with Little Debbie's snack cakes and pies and junk food. And it was in the house already. I mean, 10 years old, and my mom liked junk food too. So, it started from there. And from then on, I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I was wearing size women clothes in middle school, you
Mm.
know, and I'm only 5'1". So, it really showed a lot on me, you know,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, that's interesting that how, because as I'm listening to your story, and I talked about this a little bit last night on my live as well, how
mm,
generational curses are passed
yep.
down through our poor habits and our environment. And you literally laid that out, how your grandmother had this sweet tooth and a junk
Mm-hmm.
food addiction, and that was probably transferred to your mother, and that was also
Yep.
transferred directly to you. And
Yes.
did your mother also deal with diabetes?
Yes, she has diabetes now and kidney disease. She's actually getting dialysis treatment now. But she's been able to actually keep her weight under control. For some reason, I know now it's just some people can get big on the outside and some people get big on the inside. And I
Mm.
believe that she's what you would call a tofi, thin on the inside. Thin on the outside and fat on the inside, because
Mm.
she always was small like my size. And I could never understand how could she eat what she eat and I couldn't eat it and get big. But see, even though I was big, I never had diabetes or any of those things. So I'm finding out now, but that maybe that protected me.
Yep. Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah.
that actually is, so it's not as common. Most people can't do that. But, one of our coaches, Shell, she dealt with severe constipation, and she was always very small. She's
Mm.
smaller now, but when I very first met her, she was inflamed. So she was still
Oh,
small. Nobody would ever call her fat or overweight or anything, but she was inflamed. And she
right.
was, when I met her, she was pre-diabetic. And you would
Mm.
never, because people think, oh, that person looks like they might have diabetes. She had none of the outward expressions of diabetes like
Right.
my brothers and sister did, but
Mm-hmm.
inside she was fat, and that fat inside is a silent killer.
It is a silent killer. And, I'm trying my best to help my mom right now because I know that it is a silent killer. And like I said, she never was a big woman, but she would eat the junk and I would eat the junk. And
Mm.
she wanted exercise and stuff, but I'll always wonder why my mom could be small and I couldn't. But I'm grateful for the journey. You know what I'm saying? Now that I look in hindsight,
Hmm.
I have a testimony now. So I don't look at it like that, like I used to. I look at it like, praise God, I got through it. I conquered that giant and now I can help others with my story.
Absolutely. And that is so important. They always say hindsight is 2020, but someone out there understands this, where someone close to them is eating Oreos and chicken and whatever, and they just so skinny and they never gain weight,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
feel, they feel like, dang, why can't I be like that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't want to, because when you
Right.
have that concentration of toxicity in your system, it really is not your friend at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I think all that fat kind of make your organs so suppressed where they can't, function properly,
Mm,
because all the fat, the visceral fat is inside.
yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just grateful, Chris. I'm very grateful that, I didn't have to go through that. Even though I went through PCOS, I didn't have to go through the insulin shots and all that stuff that I watched my grandmother have to struggle with, and losing her kidney, and she had heart disease, and that's what really led to her demise.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go through that. And she loved me so much, Chris, that she said that on her deathbed, she told me, I want you and your sister to get y'all weight off.
Mm,
I don't want y'all to go through what I'm going through. And she told me that October 15th, 2001. And it took me that long to finally figure out how to do it. I tried everything, Chris, everything. Weight Watchers. I tried Slim Fast, which was Slim Slow for me. I tried everything, Chris. I mean, even the starch solution potato diet. I mean, I tried anything, and I would lose some weight, but that does not change the way you eat and how you see yourself in a sustainable life.
mm,
And so I could never keep the weight off because I didn't change me. And I didn't see how I'm supposed to eat, how I'm supposed to know what to eat, which I call my divine nutritional blueprint. I didn't know. So I had to finally seek help from the Lord, which led me to you. There's several people that helped me figure this thing out. And now I know it's not just about me, it's about me finding out so I can share with others.
mm-hmm. So just to kind of unpack that journey a little bit of because a lot of people are like, I've tried everything, and there's still people out there. There's still, because you're talking about like the dietary plans and the stuff that was available, early 90s, early 2000s, and it's evolved now. Jenny Craig, Slim Fast,
Right.
Paleo Diet, Atkins Diet, all of that stuff has
Mm-hmm.
evolved, and they're repackaging it today, and people are still falling
Mm-hmm.
into that same trap.
Right.
What was the most? Do you remember, like, what was the most you ever lost on any of those other dietary strategies?
Well, I did Herbalife back when I was 20 years old, and that was just taking pills and shakes, and
Mm-hmm.
you doing that network marketing where you selling it to other people.
Yeah, I know what that
And
is.
I lost 120 pounds with that.
Okay.
But, as a kid, I still was, what do you do after you drink all the shakes and stuff and lose the weight? You
Right.
keep drinking them? This stuff now, it's like common sense now, but it's like, how do we fall for that and like think we can sustain that? You
Mm,
know, you can't sustain drinking shakes for the rest of your life. So I picked that weight back up
mm.
really quickly because I thought I could go back to eating what I was eating before, but no, you cannot.
That's incredible. So in all of those programs and first of all, 120 pounds. I mean, my brother John did Herbalife back in
Mhm.
2013 or something like that.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and he had a similar journey, right? He lost some weight, felt good. He was in the gym. For him, it plateaued, and then it just seemed
Mhm.
to not work anymore. But
Yeah.
in all of
Hmm.
those, okay, you had that too.
Hmm.
In all of those experiences, no one ever talked about lifestyle change in the way
Right.
of, one time you're gonna have to get off of this stuff and you're gonna have to learn to maintain. They did not. That wasn't
Never.
part of it.
No, it never was a part of it. And it's like, They just get you on the program and say, okay, do this, do that. They never tell you about maintenance. Like even when I was doing I was doing Weight Watchers, all they kept telling you is just, eat your filling foods and count your points and stuff like that. But they're still not telling you to get away from ultra processed food.
Huh.
And if you're still eating that, because their food is like lean cuisines and smart ones and just telling you to count points.
Right.
Who's gonna do that for the rest of their life, first of all? Second of all, you're still hungry, and hunger is gonna always win in the long term. It's gonna always win because it's not sustainable. And you're still eating ultra processed food. So, they're training you to keep eating that. I don't eat ultra processed food anymore, nor did I want to, because I changed my mindset, my taste buds. After fasting, I no longer crave those things anymore. And, I think the biggest issue with those is they want to keep you eating the ultra processed foods, which is not food.
Right.
And so once I figured that out and figured out that that's not part of our divine nutritional blueprint, I was able to be successful then because, I don't want to eat it no more. I never want to eat it. So that's how I feel now. So that's what keeps me going. I eat real food. I'm not knocking anybody that still eat that now. It's just, you have to get to a point where you get angry enough to do the change. And that's where I was.
And that's the key right there. That it's funny that you say that, because one of the first things that I started to teach as far as dietary strategy was eliminate the processed foods and refined sugars. And
right.
It's I've got my four groups, and
right.
People don't like it. It's not super popular because it includes meat and dairy products, but there's a reasoning behind all of that. And I think it's okay to still eat meat and dairy products if you're eating really high quality stuff, if you're sourcing it well and keeping it to a minimum, because
Absolutely.
It's difficult to say, hey, I've been eating meat and dairy for my entire life, and now Chris is saying, oh, I can't eat it to be healthy. In moderation, with an emphasis on high quality products, you can still get away with that. But with the refined sugar and processed food, it's literally poison. There is no healthy version of that or better version.
Right. And see, that's what I was trying to tell people, because, some people are vegan and some people are keto, and I'm okay with that. And when I'm, talking with somebody, kind of coaching them, I said, the biggest issue is the ultra processed food.
Yeah.
Because that is really poison. Our body just don't know where that is. It don't know what to do with it. And it's causing us to get metabolically sick. So, if we just get off of that, I think that will make the difference in the world for a lot of people. And like you said, if you do eat meat, it need to be high quality, like grass-fed, grass-finished, or something like that, where you know where your meat is coming from, or someone local, a local rancher or something. I saw that video where you said that, and I agree with you 100% on that. But I don't eat dairy at all. I eat meat, but I don't eat dairy. I got away from dairy.
Dairy's rough. It's terrible for you. I mean, it's one of the most mucus forming foods. I do my best to teach to the general population, and most people, they're going to eat it. So I'm like, if I can steer you towards being more conscious of it, because a lot of times people eat cheese and they don't even know it's not even real cheese.
It's not even real cheese.
Kraft singles.
Thank you for saying that.
Kraft singles, that's not even cheese. It's called a single because legally it doesn't contain enough of real food to call it cheese. So my goal is to just make people conscious. And then I think what will happen is as they go through that journey themselves, they will naturally be like, I don't want to eat this stuff anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I say crafty. I say crap is crafty with how they market their stuff. Because like you said, I call it designer labels. I'd rather wear designer labels. I don't want to eat designer labels,
There you
because
go.
like you said, they could legally change things around and don't even put the real names of the chemicals
No.
on the box, So I say don't eat. Think out the box and don't eat out the box, okay?
There you go.
Yes.
Another one that's real crafty, those chip companies. So if you notice, like Pringles, like they're called like crisps, or they're not called potato chips. You won't see them, because they're not potato. So you can't call them potato chips.
That's why I expose them, Chris. I be exposing that because, none of that stuff is real food. Our bodies don't know what that is. We're just sitting up there and then mocking us with those ads talking about you can't have but just one and all this stuff, because they know they put all that salt, fat, and sugar and seed oils together to make it so hard to not be able to eat it. And I dealt with that, being a junk food junkie for most of my life. So that's why now that I'm conscious of it and free, I talk about it, because I know that's what they're doing, So I'm glad you mentioned that about Pringles.
There's so many out there. I'm curious to know, because you mentioned kind of being a junk food junkie and addicted to junk food. How, I guess it's a two-part question. Did you ever try moderation with junk food? And do you believe that you can be successful eating junk food in moderation? Or how do you think you should approach that?
I'm glad you asked that, because that was my issue my whole life. I thought it was something wrong with me, Chris, to be honest with you. Now I know that it was because I was a junk food addict. I was turning to food instead of turning to, dealing with my feelings and how I felt, because I used to be the type of person that would hold things in. I wouldn't confront people. I was a people pleaser, and, I always act like nothing was wrong when I was holding it all inside, But I realized that I'm one of those type of people that cannot eat it in moderation. I mean, I applaud anybody that can, but I'm starting to realize that most people are not able to eat it in moderation. And it's not that there's something wrong with them. It's how they, formulate this food where it's hard to turn it down, So I'm one that think that, if you have a weight problem and you have to look within and study yourself, and if you cannot eat just one chip or one bag of chips, okay, you have to say, you know what? I am an addict. I'm a junk food addict. And you kind of swallow your pride and deal with it like that. That's what I had to do. It was a hard step for me, but I had to do it, I don't think that people can eat that in moderation, to be honest with you, especially if they know that they have a history of, falling off the wagon,
right?
Like I was. It was embarrassing because, it's like you would lose weight and then pick it back up. That's embarrassing. And I'm finding out it's because I couldn't eat the stuff in moderation. And people say it all the time, even to this day, as long as you eat in moderation. Well, what is moderation, first of all? Where's the line? Does anybody even know where the line is? I mean, I could never figure it out other than stop eating it.
That I wanted to bring that up because I hear that a lot, where people have issues with moderating their food. And Stephen, teaches on this in depth in some of our other courses, but moderation is just something that doesn't work for most people, like you said. And it's also that idea that there's some benefit to having it in moderation. There really is not. Like,
No.
there's no benefit. The most moderation that I even really talk about is as you wean yourself off of something, you know, maybe not stopping cold turkey, but you're weaning yourself off. You're slowly but surely reducing until you get to zero. And I just wanted you to say it as someone who has had a lot of experience with diet and different programs, because I'm sure there's some people out there that might be at the beginning of their wellness journey, and they know that they are dealing with some form of food addiction. They can't really moderate well, but they might be listening to these traditional gurus, this traditional wisdom saying everything in moderation. And it's just not true.
It's not true. And Chris, what my biggest thing, people have to learn how to really study themselves first and really do their research. That's why I love channels like yours, because you don't only just show us the information that you know, you actually cause us to think. And, you know, I think a lot of us, we get to the point where we just listen to people and we don't actually evaluate ourselves and actually think. So I'm grateful for your channel for that, for the information you give us and help us think for ourselves, because I think that's the biggest issue right there too.
Yeah, turn your brain on. I noticed that.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was very first developing my channel and really figuring out how the brand was going to present itself, people would tell me, oh, maybe you could do your videos more like this. Oh, you should present. Where's the studies? Show me this, show me that. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. If you want that, there's plenty of, that's the model. That's what everybody does. They do all the thinking for you. They present all the information. It's a nice, neat box. Whatever conclusion they've come up to, you get that hand served. And I'm like, no, I want you all to be individuals. I want to empower those that are watching to go out and research, learn your body, build a relationship with yourself. Because no doctor, no guru, no health professional, no one's going to be able to tell you what to do better than you can. Like,
that's right.
You know what hurts, what feels good, where you struggle, where you need more support. So I try to empower people to empower themselves. I want you to be able to do it yourself.
And fasting definitely does that, doesn't it? It makes you think within while you fast, and you hear spiritually what you need to do. I mean, because the answers are already inside of you. So it's like fasting just kind of get rid of all the noise, where you can actually hear yourself and hear what you need to do, and your intuition finally kick in, you know. That's what I experienced when I was fasting.
Yes, me too. Me too. I actually wanted to go back to your 40-day fast a little bit and just kind of like unpack that experience, because first of all, you know, we'll get into the rolling fast too, but 40 days is not a easy thing at all. And I do feel that being led almost spiritually is like one of the best ways to approach a 40-day fast, because it is a spiritual experience. But what was your experience with the 40-day fasting as far as detox symptoms, the mental part of it? Like, can you just talk about that?
Yes. Well, during the 40-day fast, first of all, before anybody do a 40-day fast, like you've been saying in your videos, please don't eat junk food before it. And one of the things I did wrong was the day before the fast, I had a Dairy Queen Blizzard. So that made my detox process like really not good. Like the first couple of weeks, I had a lot of detox system in my digestive system, where I was having a lot of diarrhea. And, you know, I'm sure it's from all the junk food that I was eating, but, you know, I dealt with that. I felt very weak, but like I say maybe by day 10, I started getting my energy back. And I did put some pink salt in my water because I didn't, that's all I know to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that did help. And I think one of the things that helped me too was I wasn't working at the time. I personally don't see how anybody could work a physical job during the 40-day fast. That kind of worked out for me that I wasn't working at the time.
Mm.
But during the 40 days, I did a lot of journaling. This is my journal. And
Okay.
I was writing down the person I wanted to be. What does she like? What kind of clothes she dressed like, and how she walked, how she talked. And that helped me start visualizing the person that I wanted to become. And during the 40-day fast, that's when I found your channel. And that helped me be able to say, you know what, I can be that woman. I will be that woman. And it made me realize during the 40-day fast why I ended up to wear 275 pounds. I realized that I was a junk food addict during that 40-day fast when I found you. And then I found another channel called the Carb Addiction Doctor, where he would talk about people who were addicted to carbs. And that made me realize that once I get done with this 40 days, I can't go back. I can't go back to eating that stuff again. If I'm going to change, I have to look at the woman in the mirror. And I listened to that song, Man in the Mirror, a lot too. And it made me cry a lot. I watched the video and I cried a lot with that. And I realized too, like Mariah Carey say, the hero is in you. I listened to that song and I realized I had to rescue myself, Chris. Nobody was coming. I had to rescue myself. So it made me strong during that 40 days. And during the 40 days, I didn't know I was going to go 40 days, by the way.
Okay.
I just kept hearing in my spirit that I didn't get the revelation yet. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And I kept going until I finally got the revelation on what I need to do for the rest of my life. And that's when I realized that I'm going to be Lady Tay, the Vision Queen, for the rest of my life, sharing my testimony. So that's what happened during the 40-day fast.
Now that's incredible. That is incredible. First of all, it's funny because the way that you approached it, especially with your journaling and how you kind of developed is that's one of the things we teach in our 40-day class. So it's pretty incredible. Yes, it's pretty incredible that you did that almost just intuitively. And it's also, it reassures me and Stephen that what we're teaching is congruent because you've never been in one of our 40-day classes.
Right.
So for you to have gone through that process and did that, and now look at you, I'm like, okay, we are definitely on to something. So that's incredible.
You're definitely on to something. And, you know, I had this paperweight right here. Actually, I had this one. And I kept telling myself, I am diamond strong. I can get through this. I will get through this. So having something as a point of contact where you can hold on to, like that helps. That really helped me to do that. So I just kept telling myself that I'm strong.
That's incredible. I like that. I like that you have your, you know, that physical, that tactile connection. You also have the music therapy. So you're writing, you're hearing, you're touching, and this is one goes back to what I said earlier. Like you want to engage in as many senses as you can and put yourself where you need to be, because that's how the mind works. That's how your consciousness brings things that aren't currently here in this realm to this realm. It's through, So
my
this is
journal
textbook.
and my diamond ink pen, my journal and my diamond ink pen is how I brought a person that was not here to fruition now.
Yes.
Because I am a new creature, like the butterfly, like your book says, metamorphosis.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm a new creature now.
That is so dope. I do for the audience. I want you guys to know that we actually developed some fasting journals for this very purpose. So if you guys need a journal to help encourage you, obviously I'll say, hey, find whatever resonates with you. But if you just want one, we've got guides and recipes and all kinds of extra goodies in there. The fasting journal is available on healthyalternative.org in the shop. So check that out if y'all need a journal. But whatever resonates with you, or if you already have one, that's fine as well. I knew it was a great tool because I used to journal. Well, I was journaling and I got benefit from journaling before I created the journal. So
Wow.
when I did my journey, I didn't have like a nice little journal. I just had a notebook, but same thing, right? And I got tremendous benefit from doing exactly what you did. And also when I went to go tell my story, I had a reference guide.
Yep. That's what I got now.
Yeah.
And I just kept hearing that I will be rebuilding myself. I am rebuilding me. I am rebuilding me. And I just kept writing it down in my journal. And I also said that I am change. Remember in Man in the Mirror, he said, you got to make that change. Yep. I am change. So I represent change. That's what I wrote really big. And I kept telling myself that every day.
You have some amazing affirmations. That's
thank you.
That's a big part of it too. We often will negatively reinforce ourselves. And it's one of the things that I like to bring to people's mind, because they'll think, okay, I have to reinforce myself some way. But because we think negative 80% of the time, our affirmations are like negative reinforcements. And so it's important to positively reinforce. And,
absolutely.
A lot of people think, well, these things I'm saying, they're not true. But the reality is a lie told 1,000 times becomes truth. So why don't we use that same energy?
But it's in the Bible. Yeah, it's in the Bible. It says, speak things that are not as though they were. So I say that all the time. See, we think like, okay, that's kind of, that's a lie. Or they say things like, that's new agey and all that stuff. No, this is kingdom principles that's in the scriptures, You just have to get yourself out of that state of, I call it religious mind. And start reading and studying for yourself, because it tells you to speak these things that are not as though they were. And the reason why is because your tongue is bringing it forth. When you write down the vision and make it plain and you read the vision back, it makes you run. So, this stuff is in the scriptures.
Yep.
So that's why I keep talking about it.
I keep on talking. Listen. People are listening, you know what I mean? And obviously you already know because you coach people, right? So people are listening. And also the thing I've noticed, the people that you're not actually working with and coaching, there are people that just see you and they never say anything, and they will completely transform their lives and you'll never even know it. And that's beautiful.
It is. That's why I say I am changed, because I want to make sure I make an impact on whoever is in my region, my area, who see a video of me. I want them to feel change when they see me, because if I can do it, they can do it.
Exactly.
The person that I wouldn't be able to be behind this microphone in front of this camera if I was the same person that I was before. No way. No way. And that's why my name changed and everything, because I'm a new person,
Gotcha.
And if I could do it, they can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. None of us are superheroes, special, or we're all, I like to say that we're all supernatural. We all have that ability to do something special and unique, because there's certain things that only you can do. Like in this entire existence, there's certain things, because no one has your experience, no one has your perspective, and we all have that unique ability. And so it's just really like believing in yourself and
Right.
being willing to put that energy behind it.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you about the rolling fasting period because you said that you did your 40-day, you took a small break. So,
Hmm.
you had lost I'm sure a sizable amount of weight during that time. You
Yeah,
had a lot of
44 pounds.
how much?
44 pounds
44
in 40
pounds, right on
days.
schedule.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, but also with the 40-day, a lot up here happened, a lot spiritually and in your heart happened. But then when you
Yes.
shifted to your 3-day fasting, well, tell us about that experience. You found the testimonials, you decided to do the 3-day.
Yes.
How did you approach that?
Okay. I made a plan after I posted my results on the Healthy Alternative Facebook page.
Okay.
I said, after that, I said, man, I do not want to pick this weight up. I have to do this rolling 72. I just seen too many testimonies of people doing it. I said, I know I can do it.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to be a slave to the clock and be looking at the watch like, oh, I can eat now. So I said, instead of doing the rolling 72, I'm just going to do a full 3-day fast. And I just started doing 3 days and then I'll eat a full day and then 3 days and then eat a full day. And I just started calling the Queen Esther fast because Queen Esther fasted for 3 days. And I
Okay.
said, since she's a queen, I'm a queen, I'm gonna do that too. So I just kept sticking with it. And I made my mind up that if I stick to a pattern, I can stick to it. And I think that's where a lot of people mess up. You have
Mm.
to get yourself in a rhythm. And I just stayed within that rhythm the whole time. I didn't go around people that was eating junk food. Yes, I did miss some events, but this was more important to me. So I had
Mm.
to put myself first. And, I just kept sticking with the pattern. Like I told you, I went into what you call a beast mode and I
Hmm.
just kept going, kept going, kept going. And like you tell us all the time, don't keep going by the scale. Measure yourself, take pictures. And that's what I did. I measured myself and I took pictures during the process. I didn't get on the scale a lot. I think I only weighed myself maybe like twice a month, if that.
Okay.
And I got one of those biopedant scales that tell you how much visceral fat and stuff you have.
Yeah.
And when I got that, that was a game changer. So I could see that, even if I didn't lose weight 1 or 2 weeks, I could see the visceral fat and the muscle mass
Hmm.
still, going trending down. So it's more to it, you can't go by what the scale says. And just keeping my mind on the mission, on the goal, on the person who I wanted to become kept me running. That vision just kept me running, you know.
Thanks.
And I said, I'm going to do it for a whole year. And that's what I did. I did it for a whole year.
Let me just give you a round of applause on that one. That the mental fortitude it takes to do that, the determination. Yeah, Will Smith, a lot of people see the success Will Smith has and they're like, man, that guy's a
Mhm.
great actor. He has a mindset, whether it's acting or anything else. When he makes a decision, he's going to do something. He just simply does it. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't
Right.
say, oh, I was sick today. Like I listened to one of his talks, one of his speeches, and he was just like, all you have to do is just decide. It's just a
Decide.
decision because you're capable of it.
Right.
You're capable of anything you could put your mind to. You just got to decide to do it. And I think that you
Yes.
are a great representation of that. I mean, a year, that's incredible. Um,
Well, I'm glad you said that about Will Smith when he said just make a decision, because at the end of the journey in September, it came to my heart to say this, as I guess you would say this is my tagline now, but this is exactly what happened to me. One vision and one decision can change your whole destiny.
ooh,
And that's exactly what I did. Just like Will Smith said, you have to make a decision. And once you make that decision, Don't let nobody deter you from that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I just made that one vision and one decision. And it changed my whole destiny because it changed my mindset first about how I thought about myself. I didn't think about myself as a quitter or a loser anymore. And I said, if I could just stick to this pattern, I'm going to be successful. And that's exactly what I did. I just stuck with the pattern, you know,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
didn't eat that junk food again. I didn't put
Right.
it back in my system.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed personally that when I made my decision, so like when I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to do whatever. So, you go to the gas station and you're pumping your gas, you can latch it. You can latch it. They let you latch it so that you can go inside, go figure out what kind of snack you want. One of the
Mm-hmm.
decisions I made was I won't go in the gas station anymore. And like it was like I don't even have to go in there and fight urges anymore. I'm just at the
Right,
pump. I never
right,
go in gas stations anymore. And it's like I didn't do that until I made the decision that I was changing my diet, I was changing my habits.
right.
Because there's nothing in that convenience store for you. There's nothing there,
Nothing in there but
you
just
know?
pure junk, garbage. I call it carb garbage. But yeah, my husband, he was fighting addiction too. And one of his biggest issues that he kept going into the gas station. Stay
Mm,
out of them gas stations. If you have to go to one like Sam's Club or something where there is no place to buy food,
mm,
do that. But
mm-hmm.
don't set yourself up. And that was one of the things that helped me. I made sure I didn't put myself in situations where I had to fight the urges. I just stayed away from those things.
Stay on the outskirts of the store. When you go to the grocery store, go to the produce section, go to the maybe the grain
Mm-hmm.
section, nuts or whatever, and just stay on the outskirts because all of the junk food
Right,
and everything is in the middle. you know.
right. Well, in the
Uh,
beginning of my journey, my junk food addiction was so bad, I had to actually order my groceries on the app and go pick it up. And don't even go in the store.
Instacart does. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
But see, but that's the thing, right? Like instead of making an excuse, whatever, you realized areas where you needed support and you just simply
Mm-hmm.
figured out a way to support yourself.
Right.
Where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a way to do it and do it
Yes.
differently so you could be better supported.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I
You
wanted
have
to
to have a
mention,
strategy. That
yeah,
was a strategy.
got to have a strategy. I
Mhm.
wanted to mention a couple things because for those who are listening to this, um, first of all, those scales you were talking about, I'm always looking for ways to like help support the community better. And so we
Mhm.
partnered with a brand that actually manufactures those scales that give you, they have 17
Ooh,
different data points they give you. That way, when you get on the scale, you actually get more than just your weight. Because
yes.
sometimes when you're doing that 40-day, you don't always get all of the information. It's like, man, my weight slowed down, or
Right.
sometimes it'll stop, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put the link for that scale. If you guys want one of those scales, it'll be in the description box or the comment section. Also, you mentioned the results from the R72 or the rolling
Mm-hmm.
fast.
Right.
We do a 21-day fast as well, and we just launched it. Well, we just started registration, but it's going to be starting December 3rd. So anybody who wants to
Okay.
be a part of that, you guys can join. And I think some of the tools that you were able to pick up on your own, like we
Mhm.
teach that stuff in our
I'd
courses.
be happy to come in and help and tell my testimony in there too, because it works. I
Oh,
didn't know about you guys doing it, but yes, keep
oh
on it
yeah.
because it works.
Okay, well, I got you. So then guess
Yeah.
what, y'all? You heard it here first. Lady Tay's gonna be in there. She's gonna be in there. Because
Yes.
I know a lot of y'all are listening to this and they're gonna be drawn to you. We need to get your social media and however people can
Yes.
contact you. We need to get that out because people are going to be drawn to you, and so that'll be another opportunity for them to interact with you. Then, so we'll make sure to get you in
Okay.
there.
Absolutely. I want to, help you guys because I didn't have the support at the time or didn't know of any support. But you guys are in a very great situation with Chris because he have this whole thing already set up for you. And I think this is totally awesome. It's an awesome opportunity. and community is important. I really believe that you guys need to get a part of it, because if I had the support, I mean, I did great on my own, but the support that you have, why try to reinvent the wheel?
Right.
Christian already have it set up. So I think that would be really a prudent decision for people to do that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially if they're struggling in the beginning.
Especially.
I had anger that drove me, but somebody might not be angry like I was.
Right. Anger is an amazing tool if you
Is.
use it the right way.
Absolutely.
When you were doing your rolling practice, because you were eating, every 3 days, what were you eating during that time?
I was just eating meat and vegetables. So I
Okay.
would, on the days that I did eat, I would eat like maybe like a steak or a beef patty or something, high quality, grass fed. But I stayed away from dairy.
Okay.
And I would, eat a nice salad or something like that. The only fruit that I would eat is like berries, because if I ate like an orange or something like that, it would kind of dry my sweet tooth. And one time I ate orange and I felt like I wanted to have more than one. I was like, oh no, no, no. So I had to study myself and say, okay, if I do have fruit, I can have like, a handful of berries or something like that on my salad. But that's basically what I stuck with the whole time, was like, meat and vegetables. And that's all they
Gotcha.
talk about in the scriptures. They don't talk about us eating all the other processed foods. So I stuck with basically what I thought they would eat back in the scripture days, just meat and vegetables. That's it. And I didn't eat bread because, I know they say Jesus didn't eat bread and stuff like that, but this is not bread that they
This is
make
not
in
bread.
here.
Yeah.
This is not the bread that Jesus broke, okay?
Right. Yeah, this is different.
This is different. So so I stayed away from that. So no dairy, just meat and vegetables is it.
Meat, vegetables. Now you seasoned your food?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And seasons and herbs.
See, because people think, oh, it's just meat, it's bland, it's plain. You can still make your food taste good, people. You don't gotta, it doesn't. I used to work with this guy. He was I worked with a bodybuilder, and I also worked with a guy who was just really into fitness. I don't know if he was trying to compete or not, but like both these guys, they would bring these meals in, and it would be chicken breast and white rice, and it was bland. I think they were allowed to use like pepper. And I'm just like, bro, that's trifling to me,
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I learned how to love cooking during this journey.
there you go. There you
Cook,
go.
enjoy your food, cook.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry. Just, on the days that you eat, enjoy your food. You don't have, that's what I love about fasting. You don't have to count calories and all this stuff. Just
exactly.
eat right food and your body would know what to do with it.
Exactly.
Yes, and be patient.
There you go. What were some of the highlights of this experience for you outside of the weight loss? I know you mentioned at one point you were dealing with PCOS. What were some of the things that you benefited from doing this over the past year or so?
Just wow, just watching myself transform. One thing, being a big person my whole life, having the big cheeks and I never saw my features. Now, I got the weight off. I can see, oh, I look like that auntie. Oh, I look like that grandmother. Like I can see my gene features, I've never seen those before. I've never seen myself a slim woman in my build and just watching myself transform. That's one thing. And, seeing myself a whole nother person growing up, not really talking much and not expressing myself much. And now I'm bold and speak. Just watching myself transform. And I look at myself now and like, wow. But then sometimes I get angry and say, well, I didn't do this before. You know, just watching yourself transform, that should make people curious right there. You
Mm,
know, the fasting really does, it rebuilds, it tears down the old cells and rebuild you back up
yeah,
to be what you were supposed to be from the beginning anyway. And just
exactly.
watching that happen, metamorphosis, like you say.
There you go. That was super
Hmm.
intentional. That whole thing, the
Yes,
book and everything. Um,
yes.
what was it like for your friends and family to see this transformation? I mean, because this is off the
Yeah.
charts. Well, how did your husband respond? How did your child respond? How did your aunties, or you know what I mean? Like,
It's it's funny you say that because I still don't know a lot of their reactions yet. You know, they only see the pictures on Facebook. For 6 months, I called it a 180-degree change in 180 days.
mm,
I didn't tell nobody what I was doing. I just, like a caterpillar go into a cocoon. I had my own little cocoon where I did not put any pictures or anything on Facebook for
oh,
180 days. So no one saw the transformation really until then. And yeah, they were shocked. A lot of them was very shocked, you know, from the reactions on Facebook. But a lot of them I haven't seen face to face yet, but I'm sure I'm going to see them over the holidays.
holiday. Me and Steven just talked about this. You want to be that auntie when you come back from a year or whatever, you haven't seen your family, and you that auntie to be like, dang, auntie, what you been doing? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You want to be the bad auntie.
I'm gonna be the bad auntie. I say I'm the kingdom sister and the kingdom auntie. So they're gonna say, look at kingdom auntie.
What
Yeah.
did what did your husband think though, like during this process? Because a lot of times, people think, oh, you're gonna hurt yourself, or did you get support, or how did that kind of work out?
He's always been supportive, no matter what silly diet I ever done. But when I was doing the 40-day fast, he was like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I gotta get the revelation. I gotta get the revelation.
Mm.
So, he supported me the whole time. And then he eventually said, I gotta do something too, man. I gotta get my weight off too. I guess he said my wife ain't gonna get fined and I don't get fined too, okay? So he started doing OMAD. He could never do the fasting like I could do the fasting, but he did do the OMAD, and to this day he's still doing OMAD.
Oh
So
wow.
he eventually joined me. You know, he had a few times he would fall off the wagon, but me keeping to it kept encouraging him to keep going.
Mm.
So
Beautiful.
he's been supporting me, and he lost almost 90 pounds himself.
Do it.
Yep,
Oh, he needs to be on the show. Night. Wow.
exactly. He's camera shy. I said he need to be on here too.
Oh man. He's just in the background, just dropped the casual 90 on him.
Right, right. He pushed me in front of the microphone. Okay.
Dang. Okay. Yo,
Yep.
there is no better support system than that, man. Because
Right.
you guys are doing it together. You're feeding off each other.
Hmm.
Y'all getting fine together.
Right, right. And see, with my son, he had a electrical accident. He's autistic, and they're when they get into something, it's hard for them not to want to do it. And
Hmm.
he wanted to be a scientist so bad, so he was, playing around with experiments, and he got hurt really bad
Mm.
and burnt himself. So when he burnt himself and was in the hospital for the 31 days that he was in there with me, and I was in there with him, that made me get ready to start fasting because I
Mm.
said something good got to come out of this. Well, in the hospital, they were saying he needed to eat a lot of protein to heal his burns. So that really started us on changing the way we eat
Mm.
because we all used to eat junk food, but trying to help my son get healed helped me get healed. So,
Okay.
him needing to have, lots of protein and not eat junk food, I had to change the way I eat. So I threw away all the junk in the cabinets and stuff. So our whole household had to change,
Ah,
the whole
wow.
household. And I think that's why a lot of people get stuck because, like you said, not having that support. The
Hmm.
whole house, I believe the whole household need to band together and make that change. I know it's hard to change other people in the house, but I think if you really have that conversation,
Hmm.
really talk about what will happen if we don't make that change, like how you said in one of your videos, I think that will help a lot of families make that change. And that's what helped us. We all did it together.
That makes a lot of sense. And you're right. And it's funny because as someone who is a mother, you have a family, and usually the mothers are going to kind of determine what's being ate in the house, traditionally speaking.
Right.
And we have so many mothers, and they'll want to change their diet and their health because they already know. But then they are like, but Chris, but my children still eat this, my husband still eats that. And I'm like, don't you want them to be healthy too? You
Right.
got to sit down and have this conversation with everybody and maybe not say, okay, we've been eating junk food today and then tomorrow we're never going to have it again. But like just start that conversation and begin that
Mhm.
transition so that everyone
Yes.
can benefit.
Yes. And see, it says in the scriptures, and I mean, I know we listen to a broad audience here, but what I want you guys to understand, it says it in the scriptures that a wise woman builds her house and a foolish woman tears it down.
Mm,
Well, that tells me there that a lot of times it's the mothers and the wives that can really build this thing, build up the house.
yeah.
So I looked at it as like one of my missions that I had to become that wise woman and help my whole family,
Mm-hmm.
starting with my household and then the rest of my household and then people who I impact. But I believe it does starts with the moms.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Absolutely. Oh man, this has been incredible. I want to give you an opportunity. Seriously, like there's so much obvious. Listen, we probably gonna have to have another interaction. Um,
Yes.
I want to give you an opportunity to share any projects you have going on, your coaching, websites, Instagram, whatever you have, so that people can reach out to you.
Absolutely. Well, right now I'm setting up a group called Diamond Strong Community. It's going to be free, just anybody that, wants to get the support, especially if you have an issue with junk food and trying to get tips on how you can, transition to sobriety. Because I look at it like you being sober once you get off of it. I'm starting that up, so stay tuned with that, and I will let Chris know when I have that started. And you can find me on Instagram, Kingdom Queen Talk, and I am on there preaching, but I do talk about a lot of the fast food and the junk food. Um, I talk about that on that channel, and also I have a YouTube called Kingdom Queen Talk, which I will have a podcast just like Chris, where I want to talk to some extraordinary people who are changing their lives and, to give tips on how to write down your vision and make it plain.
Mm.
So you can reach me that way. And I have a Facebook page, Lady Tate, the Vision Queen Adams. So that's how you can reach me now. I don't have an official coaching program yet. If you
Okay.
have any questions, you can ask me any questions. I'm willing to help you as much as I can. And also, I'm going to be, helping Chris and his brothers with their coaching platform too, to give my testimony there. So you're going to be seeing me, guys, more often because, I have to keep sharing my story.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Listen, if y'all haven't already hit the like button, make sure to do that so that this can get pushed out to as many people as possible. Subscribe to the channel. You guys already know I'm always bringing you these motivational, inspirational testimonies, these life-changing just stories that will impact you. And it's a great, like you mentioned earlier, you can binge watch. So you've got all these stories you can listen to. And they all got one or two little nuggets that are going to really speak to you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So thank you all for watching. Hit us in the comment section. Make sure to join the 21-day challenge. Registration is only open for a short period of time. It starts December 3rd. So we look forward to seeing you guys in there. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.